2 p.m. and we are gathered here at City Hall for the EDC monthly meeting. It's May 30th, and I will go ahead and begin with invocation and Pledge of Allegiance. Invocation by Mr. Lopez and a Pledge of Allegiance from Mr. Mendez. That's all right.
Bow our heads. Lord, we ask you to please guide us in the right direction here at the EDC of Rio Grande City. We ask you for your forgiveness. We ask you, please send some rain to our needy earth here in Rio Grande City. Our ranch lands need the rain, much needed rain. We ask you to please protect those that need your protection, Lord. We ask you to clothe the naked, feed the hungry, shelter the homeless. We ask this in your name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Under the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
All right, roll call. Dalinda Guillen, present. Linda Davila,
Present.
Mario Mendez,
Present.
Fred Lopez,
Present.
Ediel Barrera,
Present.
Jose Garza,
Present.
and David Reyna.
Present.
Outstanding. Outstanding. We have a perfect attendance. We do have a quorum. Item number 3 on the agenda is the conflict of interest disclosure. So if you have any item on the agenda that you'd like to share that you have a conflict with, now is the time to do so. You can also do it during that section of the meeting. And I know that there is some conflicts to report.
Madam President, I have a conflict with the the Texas Workforce Commission. I sit on the board. I will abstain from voting on that agenda item.
Noted. And I have the same role on the Workforce Development Board, so therefore I'll abstain from item number 11.
Would I,
And we do have your membership to the Starr County Industrial Foundation, therefore I would recommend that you abstain from that discussion, which is item 13.
Ms. Guillen, are you abstaining only from 11A or 11 entirely?
11A. Let it be noted that Fred and myself are abstaining from item 11,
And number 8
11.
and 11A.
8 and 11A. Correct, thank you. Anyone else? Very well. Public forum, do we have anyone signed up for public forum today? No? Very well. Item number 5 in your packet is the approval of minutes from the previous meeting. I will go ahead and give you a moment to look those over.
Madam President, there's no changes to the previous meetings minutes. I so move that we approve as read.
Thank you. We have a motion.
I'll second.
We have a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those against, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 6 on the agenda is the financial report. Mr. Barrera?
Good afternoon, board members, fellow Rio Grande City residents. I'm going to start with Mr. Leonel Cantu. Give us a quick update. If you look on your package, the first page you got there, it's a quick look on our balance. And I'm passing out down to you, grab one, the actual balance that we have in our books as of today, May the 30th, which is 4 months before the end of our fiscal year. Mr. Cantu, please.
Yeah, Mr. Barrera, for a fund balance on the EDC account, so I provided with him a fund balance as of the end of the last fiscal year, which was audited. We had 2.2 million fund balance as of September 30th, 2024. As of May 30th, based on the year-to-date revenues and year-to-date expenditures, our fund balance is 2,658,396. And then projections towards the end of the fiscal year, we have revenues at $585,892 and expenses at $642,863, which would leave us a projected fund balance of $2,601,425 at the end of this fiscal year. That's not taking into account the economic development though, because I'm not sure which work plans are gonna develop between now and the end of the year, so that's a total of 324,000 additional. If they do happen, then it's gonna be that amount less.
Thank you. And what I provided to you is I added the work plan commitments that we have. So that's the actual balance as of right now on the very bottom what you have. So it's projected from the work plan and the other economic development commitments that we have through the end of September.
The pending.
Yes,
economic
pending, yes. So this one right here, it tells you the final balance of what we have.
And for this fiscal year specifically?
Yes.
So for the next 4 months, that's our balance.
That would be the projected fund balance at the
Projected,
end of this fiscal year.
And how about the operating budget that we planned on for this year in comparison to that?
For the operating, I broke it down in the expenditures. I put personnel at 103,558 projected between now and the end of the fiscal year. Administrative costs, we still have $154,905 pending that need to be transferred over to the general fund. The CO's payment, we've already done that payment, but we haven't transferred the money over. I've been short-staffed in the finance department, so we're pending to make that transfer. And then the infrastructure development, there was $100,000 in the work plan that I also put there. And then operating cost, $165,000. Those are projected. Well, the operating cost is a projection of what will be between now and the end of the year.
So that's not part of the fund balance, or that's not part of
That
it?
would be part of the fund balance at the end of September 30, 2025. But that's
Including
broken down in there.
payroll and everything that?
Yes.
That's included, okay.
During our last meeting, we had a specific discussion and question over those obligations and pending projects. Mr. Barrera, I know that you attached the detail of this year's budget. What projects specifically have been, are still in the books to complete?
Okay, it's on the work plan. I can discuss them now, but in the work plan, we still got pending bills from Los Velas project, which is about 100,000. We got the St. Ives development pending 100,000. We still don't have an invoice, so that's 200,000. And the other one is the 50,000 from the ADA matching funds. They provided 500,000. We owe them 50,000.
Is that on our,
And the work plan.
yeah, but is it,
It should
did you
be-
bring it onto the,
Yeah, it's when we get to the agenda, the work plan where you guys approve the,
okay.
it's there. So anything that's pending, that we are pending an invoice, it's, I projected that as a cost that we haven't paid. So we got the projected boost program, we got the pending 88 invoice, and the St. Ives and Los Velas. Those are the key ones. And then, of course, the 84, if we approve the,
On the projected boost programs, did you add just one more round or two more? Or
two. I added two. We're supposed to vote on one, but I added the two just in case we want to go on a third round
For this year?
for this year.
Good job.
Yes, sir.
What's the total amount on those two?
It's 25,000 for one, 25,000 for the second, so it's 50. And the boost grant is for a business, it's not returnable, it's for the business to fix up, buy some computers, fix up your office, maybe fix the outside. But that's very popular right now, and that's why the board's gonna consider this time around to go a second round.
And that's part of the quick look fund balance?
Yes.
All that is deducted in there?
Yes, the one that I gave you, the little cheat sheet, that one, yes, sir.
Those would be part of the number in the bottom where it says pending economic development.
Yeah, there's so many numbers going back and forth. It's-
I know, and that's why,
It would have been nice to have a nice breakdown of what was gonna be spent from here to September.
Right, and that's why I left it as
what we
pending, because I didn't know which ones were gonna be spent between now and then. That's on the EDC.
Yeah,
so-
exactly. It would have been nice for us to get something like that. There's just too many numbers going back and
Well,
forth.
you can reference the work
yeah,
plan.
well, that's what I'm saying. What you got there, that little cheat sheet, that is the actual balance, and then you look at the work plan, and right there's gonna tell you which ones are still pending. When we were on number 11, I think, yeah. When we vote on that, it's gonna showcase that. And additional, in your package, you see the additional spendings that we've been doing, the little, I call it nickels and dimes, but there's a lot of spending there, you know, supporting the Freedom Fest and other commitments that we have, that's already been paid for, so.
I think it's important that the board take a look at that work plan at this time because we're discussing the finances.
Yes, I agree.
That is in tab 11.
And I just have a special request. I think this is very important for us to be prepared for this meeting, and I think we need ample time to look at this agenda, the full packet. I would request for us to get at least 24 hours ahead of time. That way we could go entirely through the packet and ask for appropriate questions.
The normal time is 48 hours, and I apologize, but we had a issue with the date on having this meeting, so yes, I
Okay.
agree with you.
Yeah.
Mr. Barrera, when are we supposed to get that invoice from St. Ives for the 100,000?
You know, I was asking this morning, and we don't have an answer on that.
Actually, there could be an invoice, but it is by contract due every December.
Okay.
So, generally, you could request an invoice, but under the contract and agreement, we should be initiating those payments timely at the end of the year.
Okay.
So this particular, item here, this pending invoice for that project, wouldn't that have been paid out in December?
December.
Already?
Should have already been paid off for this fiscal year.
Are we talking about the St. Ives, the 150,000?
St.
That one's already been paid.
Okay,
We paid it in, I wanna say February,
okay.
but it's been paid.
Okay, so
The 100,000 that's pending there, it's for the Los Velas project.
no, I have a St. Ives also pending. I don't
Yeah,
know.
we have two.
So I,
St. Ives has already been paid for, it shouldn't be
The
pending.
150,000, we paid it
Okay,
already.
so that's good. My bad, delete that.
Matter of fact, if you see your expenditure reports, it was
yeah, it does.
misguided. It was posted on the special CO projects, but I already had the girls move it over to the economic development, so.
We are current with the St. Ives project, right?
St. Ives, yeah, the 150,000, yes.
So then it's just the, ADA grant, your, Grandee, Commerce Commercial Square project, and then Los Vegas. So that's 250,000
Yes,
that is still outstanding to pay out
correct.
before the end of this fiscal year. Is that,
Do we have, I don't think we have any other, I mean, we went through it and there's nothing else pending.
okay.
I want to ask that, Mr. Barrera, I want to ask that you go back and revisit this work plan and give us a more definite number, because we're still going back and forth. You know, some have been paid, there's still some in the work plan. You know, it's good that we do have a fund balance, we can cover anything that we need to cover, but for me, I'm lost with information that is being given out. I'd like for you to go back sometime and give us or send us an email with the correct numbers, so that it'll be easier, that we don't have to go back and forth. So I don't know if we have to go through certain a vote or whatever, but I'm totally lost with all these numbers.
So the financials are just for our information
Okay.
only. And
Okay.
so what we want to try to understand is where we stand financially, what it is that we still have obligated to pay before the end of the year, to give us a better picture on those investments that we're looking at further down the agenda. And so with the information that you have, I hope that it, meets the needs of addressing that question for you. If it doesn't, then I suggest that we get clarification from our director.
Yes.
And our finance director while they're still here, under this item. Is there any question specifically that we have that will allow us to proceed with the other items on the agenda?
I'm good.
I'm good.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll leave it at that.
Okay, so then from here on out, we just need to make sure that this is updated, provided to the board so that they have a better understanding of where we're at on some of these payments, as well as making sure that we get this with enough notice to better the review before the meeting.
Okay.
Okay? All right. Anything else regarding the financial activity in the packet? I know we have sales taxes that continue to rise, and so that's always a positive thing for the EDC, as we depend on the revenue of these sales taxes to be able to reinvest it into our projects. So anything else that we need to know, or that anyone has specific questions on before we move on to the next item on the agenda?
One of the things we always do is we remind the board and the audience that right now we're about 9.2% unemployment, the April numbers, because we haven't got the May numbers, and it came down from 10.2 to 9.2. So something's happening, folks are getting employed, but the average in the state is 4.2, and the valley is about 5.2. So we're up there, and we do need some economic development to get our folks employed. So it's 9.2 right now.
Okay, will there be no further questions or comments regarding that item on the agenda? It is not for action, it is for information only. We will go ahead and proceed to the next item, which is presentations. We have the Starr County Industrial Foundation present to give us an update. Ms. Benavides?
Absolutely. I think we should, oh, there we go. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for this invitation to come present to you a snapshot of some of the things the Starr County Industrial Foundation works on for this community, for the city, and for the county, and quite frankly, for just about any partner that we have. That this collaboration, as you will see, has yielded some pretty great results, and more importantly, I think what it has served is a foundation of having a collaborative spirit to economic development. It's interesting you raise the decrease in unemployment, Ross, and we'll get to what has probably had a great impact on making that happen. I do want to talk to everyone just a little, because I know some of these members are new and haven't had the privilege and opportunity to be familiar with the relationship the Industrial Foundation has had with the City of Rio Grande and the Rio Grande City EDC. But I did want to point out that the Industrial Foundation is operated very much like a nonprofit that does work with a board of directors. Some of the board of directors are decided to join us today because they don't get to hear this kind of pitch very often also. Got Mr. Vale, Mr. Canales, and Mr. Vale sitting in the room with us today on our board. So you can see there's quite a number of other members of the community, both in the public and private sector, that include Mayor Gil Falcón as part of our board. I'll just go really quick back, because I think one of the other things everyone probably doesn't realize is that the Industrial Foundation is a team. It is not an individual. It is not one person doing this work. It is a team of people. And so they never get a chance to get out of the office because they're so busy, because we're such a small team, that I wanted a quick chance to introduce everyone to Nilda Lizondo, our Vice President of Operations, who's joining us today, Dominique Benavides, who is our Marketing and Project Liaison, Katia Buendia, who is our Executive Administrative, it says assistant, but it's more extraordinaire, and Diego Barrera, who is our Administrative Assistant and a Jack of all trades. And I introduce these individuals because I want everybody to know that they play a critical part in the Industrial Foundation, and that the partnership and membership that we're able to secure throughout the year is solely responsible for ensuring that no longer have their job, but more importantly, that they're able to do their job well with the kind of resources that they need. And so, guys, you want to stand up real quick so everyone gets a chance to finally meet the team that's behind everything else. And we have Ms. Vicky Villarreal, who is basically the office, know all, do all, and the one person that we can count on whenever we need anything in any of our organizations. And so, Vicky and team, thank you so much for all you do, and we appreciate you joining us and sacrificing lunch for this. But let me get you the reason why we're here. And this is to tell you a little bit about what the Industrial Foundation does and some of the projects that we're working on. We do have an opportunity to work on a lot of these demographic informations, and this is a quick sheet that we share with people. We talk about unemployment, we talk about unemployment rates, and those are important for our recruitment. We talk about the idea that marketing to people to invest in this community and spend their money is important. But we want to share with you now, these are not projects that are ready to be disclosed beyond this room. We didn't realize what kind of setting this was going to be, and so we have these out. But I know that there was a conversation not long ago about some space at LAX. Ross shared this with us, and we actually got a reach out already, and there's already an LOI for 15,180 square feet in that facility. We're working with a retailer that is expected to come to the space. They will be joining us probably here for your next meeting to give you some details on what that business is. We will tell you it is definitely retail. It is something that will be a great complement to what we have already. But more importantly, they will come to the EDC because in order to make that happen, there will have to be some work done to the current facility to adjust a new user. They will share the same facility. LAX will continue to operate only in a smaller footprint. But more importantly, they want to make sure parking and everything else in terms of what the requirement of the retailers are going to be. So we may need to talk about variances, we may need to talk about some adjustments, and obviously this is typically the step when we come to the EDC fully to say this is a project, we're ready to move forward, and it's moved beyond a lead, and it's something that we feel has not just potential but will likely be able to materialize into a project. AutoZone has also similarly closed their deal on what we're calling Center Point for Starr County, which is Hospital Road. They will be joining McDonald's in that area. Their contract has been concluded. We may not need a lot from them to get this project when we bring it to the city. They obviously have a challenge because of infrastructure in the area or the lack thereof, and we've been working with a private developer to where we think we may be able to bring a project to the city that will help alleviate the problem of sewer and those connections at the expense of a private developer, obviously in an effort to assist themselves in moving future in that project and in that region, but more importantly, it'll help us address the concern that we get from a lot of leads in that general area that have attributed because of the DHR project, because of the fact that most of the educational institutions are there and many of the rooftops are going there. But this project was able to work through it, and so they will be coming to you in a more significant way. Obviously, everyone knows about Ross Dress for Less. They're opening in July. This, for us, creates 50 to 75 new jobs, but more importantly, what this is doing is cementing this area as a cornerstone for continued shopping, which means you'll continue to see your sales tax rise as these are happening, because these are projects that we anticipate by the month of first, maybe second week of July, will be fully operational in over 26,000 square feet of retail. This one's new. City has some of these plans yet. This is obviously not ready to go out anywhere either. Everyone's been asking us for a Canes. We go to any point when we're talking about where they go. This is exactly Canes' biggest competitor. They've already secured 5E at the St. Ives Plaza. And my understanding is that they've submitted plans for the city without any of this information just yet for review. They may also face some situations with parking because they have to have shared parking with Five Below. But this is basically just a work in progress, which we'll be bringing to you as well. We don't anticipate we're going to need to do anything with this project other than just get help from you all to move it through the pipeline of the permitting and construction. This one is a $1.8 million investment, and you can stay there, that's fine. And it creates about 30 to 40 part-time and full-time jobs. Incidentally, Rio Grande Village and Grande Commerce is probably the one focus we all have right now. And we want to give you a little bit of background because this project didn't happen 3 weeks ago, 3 months ago, 3 years ago. This project began about a decade ago. And many of you sitting in this room are nodding because you understand the work it took to get here, the partnerships it took to get here. And I don't think any of us ever take full claim to say, hey, I did that. What we do is say, we did this, and this is how we exist, and this is how we coexist to ensure that this project, which you see already with logos, is filled up. And then what that means to the project on the north side of that. Now, we already know at this point, and you're familiar with this as well, 74,000 square feet of retail will be coming to this community. They'll break ground on Q3 or Q4 of this year to make this project happen, and the urgency couldn't be more. We are currently battling, not ourselves, but the city of Penittas. They have a very similar development with many of these users, many of the users that you know already, that we have non-disclosure agreements with, and so that is why you never hear us talk about names. We understand that is a challenge when we're trying to report to a funding partner. Our goal here is to leave this meeting with an idea perhaps of talking to these users about adding Mr. Barrera or Ms. Guillen, whomever you designate as a person who also signs an NDA, and the reason we hadn't done that is that puts this person in a really bad place because you ask them, hey, what are you working on? And for them to have to answer to you, well, I can't really tell you, is a difficult place, but I think we can find a way to ensure that everything that is being worked on there somehow, some shape or form, goes beyond our information to Mayor Falcon because he visits our board meetings, and we'll get to that later. But what I wanted to tell you about this is that many of the users that you're going to see are people we've been working on for 8, 9, 10 years, right? And what we needed was the right place, the right developer, the right time, the right group of people in the EDC willing to be a shared partner in this, and we're there. You know, so this is just a matter of time before this project opens up to hundreds of jobs, more importantly, a significant increase in your sales tax. This is all exclusively retail. Now, there's a couple of restaurant pads you see there, and I will tell you, when we come to see you, we have already probably gone through 10, 15 users that have said, well, maybe I'd like to go there. That seems like a good opportunity. Can you send me a site plan? Can you develop this? Can you develop that? Can you send me more demographics? Can you tell me why should I believe that people from Mexico are going to cross the border to shop here and that we count them as a population? So our market radius right now is 35 miles. That is typically the amount of area in Texas and in Mexico that shop in Stark County. And so for us to go there and turn out a site plan to someone, you know, for example, Olive Garden, Academies, Home Depot, Lowe's, you name it. We've been through all of those for quite some time. We turn those things in, and again, it could be 3 months, it could be 3 years, it could be 3 weeks, typically not 3 days, for them to respond and say, hey, we're in, you know, we want to go. And so if you see a slowdown on us coming to you with some of these leads, it's only because most of them lead nowhere. And we hope to always come to you with something that's a little more more concrete, that we've reached a point where we can say, okay, this is a serious conversation. Do we really want to waste 8 people's very busy time to talk about, well, maybe so-and-so will come? And so if that process needs to change, we can adjust that as well. But our goal has always been to bring you opportunities that seem like they have a lifeline to take from. And I promise I'm going to make this faster because we're gone. Industrial development is something else we're working really closely with. And we are going to focus on this project, even though we really haven't talked a lot, just because of the sheer size of this project. We started with what was a public-private partnership for a road. That we were able to help the public and private sector partners bridge, and no pun intended, a gap in funding and a gap in collaboration to get that done. That road you all know as Industrial Drive, and it is going to be connected to the bridge. As a result of that, not primarily, but to some degree, you will now have, coming very soon, a groundbreaking for a 10 to 15,000 square foot cold storage facility. The first in the area, not the first in the county, but the first in the area that will service Stark-Amargo Bridge. It's about an $18 million investment right now in that area. In addition to that, Stark-Amargo Bridge has pledged to build an international business center that is right now about $22 to $25 million. That facility, I'm not allowed at this point to share because not even I know what it's going to look like. I can just tell you that based on the information that we have, it'll be a great complement to the community that's involved in international commerce. I think what you're going to begin to see as well is a significant number of increase in crossings, which they already have, but many more to come. Want to go to the next one? So that led us to talk about the foreign trade zone, right? Tariffs are talking about, do we want to move forward? Are we not going to move forward? Is there a way that we can help people? And I think Nolda's going to give us a little rundown on that.
Really fast on the foreign trade zone, we've been able to maintain it through the years, and mostly because of the relationship we have with the Department of Commerce. It's a small foreign trade zone area. We want to expand it. With the talk of tariffs, the talk of nearshoring, we have had companies interested in our area, but they need a place where they can come and bring their equipment, their machinery over, and be able to store it without duty. So we're working on that, and we hope to have something by the end of the year. For you, we need letters of support from you, so we'll be reaching out to you.
Okay, well, we talked about TxDOT and how valuable partnerships are to TxDOT. They no longer do projects on their own. It requires, obviously, community investment and community buy-in. State Loop 195, everyone's been talking about it. We have been told and assured that by November 2025, an official groundbreaking will take place for all the partners to celebrate the fact that we're finally moving in that direction. Now, in order for that to happen, those relationships require many tiers at our state legislators, the people at TxDOT, locally, Mr. Lopez, or at the state level or at any level. And so we wanted to let everyone know that while we all realize that project is moving forward, a date has tentatively been set up for November 2025, which obviously everyone will be included. One of the other interesting things in the recent months has been this real big interest in multi-housing. Stark County is blessed right now that they're experiencing, to some degree, rooftops moving throughout the county, but what we're getting a lot of calls about is multifamily. And people understand that there is a shortage. Economic insecurity sometimes just gets people to think I'd rather rent than build. But we're keeping an eye on that. We've gotten a couple of inquiries about people looking for locations that would be adequate for this. And as that materializes, we'll share with you. I think, Nolda, you had one quick thing on the broadband.
So, part of the Stark County Industrial Foundation initiatives goes beyond business recruitment. We also lay the foundation for transformation and growth for the community. Broadband is very important. During COVID, we realized the need we have for broadband in our area. We partnered with the Rio Grande Valley Broadband Coalition. We created the Stark County Broadband Coalition. Right now, there's a pause on the funding because of issues with the federal government, but we are hopeful that those will be resolved, and we will be able to move forward with the mapping of the area, and then be able to seek a grant for the infrastructure. So this is something that will obviously transform our not only Rio Grande City, but Starr County.
So all that doesn't happen with advocacy, right? And we're fortunate to have some really great representatives. We spend quite a bit of time working with our state rep, Ryan Guillen, with our state senator, Senator Safarini, with our Congressman Henry Cuellar and both our senators, Cornyn and Cruz, quite frankly. Because there's grant applications that go up and you need some help pushing those along. Because there's funding opportunities and you need to be able to have access to funding. I know we all find it easier to hope that money comes in our direction and that attention comes in our direction, but that only happens if you have those relationships. That's something the Industrial Foundation takes very seriously because we feel that's the only way we're going to protect the interests of both the public and private sector. You want to go? So renewable energy is actually something we don't talk to the cities a lot about because most of it has been happening in the landscape of the county. But there is, we actually have 20 projects, 10 that have been completed for about $3.5 billion. We've got 10 under development for almost another $1 billion right now. And one of those projects is actually within the city limits of Rio Grande City. It's a $115 million project slated to start construction either at the end of the year or the beginning of Q24. Give or take, that kind of project would give you not only the $200-300 amount of jobs that come in for solar and wind and battery, but more importantly, it's going to grow your tax base. We calculated that kind of probably means $500,000 more of ad valorem tax coming to the city and about $1.5 million more going to the school. So this is a question we get asked all the time, right? This is more for the board than anybody else. There's a conversation about what the Industrial Foundation does all the time. Even my mom asks me, what do you do for a living? Like, she doesn't get it. She doesn't understand how we get involved in so many things and what we do. And it's hard to describe economic development. But the truth is that the role of economic development has always been to make this community better, to ensure that we find a platform that allows this community to work together to make not just Rio Grande City, the city of Roma, or Starr County better, but this region. And it's working. You're seeing a drop in unemployment. You're seeing an increase in investment. You're seeing an increase in jobs. All the boxes are being checked. And so when we talk about investments into our community, we also talk about, okay, so what kind of return am I getting in my investment? And that's primarily what anybody in the private sector will ask for. I'm not going to invest money if I'm not going to make money, right? And so we wanted to show you something just because we thought it was pretty peculiar when we started to look. We went back to 2011, and we said, okay, you know, we'll use 2014 so it could be kind of a decade of work and partnerships between the industrial. Quite frankly, that relationship predates me. It is a relationship that, or is it an organization that started before the city was a city, and then that relationship has matured, and quite frankly, in our eyes, has progressed into something really special that is doing meaningful work. And so we said, okay, you know what, let's look at this. Let's look at where we were. Well, in 2010, you know, it was $40,000 that were invested into the Industrial Foundation, right? Sales tax, you know, the numbers historically for us, we were able to actually capture them in 2012, where you were at 3.9. There was an anomaly in 2014, which is the decade we're going to start, where you saw it spike to 5.8. That was a singular project. That was a gas pipeline that was crossing through this area from Agua Dulce to Mexico. And so there was some significant taxes that had to be paid by the company as a result. We were at $40,000 still. And then, 2016 brought us back to what the typical sales tax was at that point, which was about 3.9, almost $4 million. And you can, I'm not going to go year by year, but you can follow the years, 3.9, 3.9. Then in 2019, 2020, you finally reached the 4 million mark. We're still at 40,000. You go to 2021, 2022, you surpassed the $5 million mark. We're still at 40,000. When you get to 2023, we thought we were going to go over 6 million. Didn't happen. We're about $200,000 short. We're still at $40,000 in investment in the foundation. 2024, the last full year that was keyed in, put you at $6.2 million of sales tax. Industrial Foundation contribution, $40,000. And I show you this to tell you that the real commitment we have here is obviously an important amount of goodwill and partnership between us, but more importantly, that our work, however touched, whether it is full on here, there, a little bit here, has an impact, we feel, and has a very quantifiable impact in this community and in this region. And so we take a lot of pride in the work that we do. Are we perfect? Maybe in process, we'll be the first to accept. Our job here isn't to write the rules, it's to follow them if they're there. And more importantly, to build relationships that will gain good things for the city that you represent in the EDC and for the community that we represent in our role. So we know the numbers are going to come in for 2025, and they're going to be much, much higher than $6.3 million. We expect a lot of new retail coming in by the end of this year. We expect a lot more for 2026. Our goal is to be able to develop a system that keeps you informed, that gives you the kind of information you need to budget appropriately, and that allows us to continue to assist you. And so I swore this was going to be a short presentation.
I'll just remind everybody that we do have a monthly newsletter that goes out every month, and I think we have Mr. Barrera, Mr. Garza, Mrs. Guillen, Ross Barrera, Linda, everybody's on there. If anybody's not on our list, please let us know so we can send you the monthly newsletter. It includes our activities, it includes projects that are coming up or any relevant events that might be happening. And we do hold quarterly board meetings, so if anybody wants to join us, please let us know.
Oh, the next one's June, that's where,
June 26th.
June 26th, we'll be having our quarterly board meeting, and I know the mayor attends our meetings, and several of you that are members and do attend as well. But we'll make a coordinated effort to make sure that that invitation goes out, that everybody that is part of the EDC is on our mailing list. But with that said, for us, this is an opportunity to share a little bit about what we're doing. I think our last message was there was a retreat being proposed that we were given a window to talk a little bit more about what we do, and hopefully this gives you a little bit of a snapshot. But we're not open to any questions or comments that anyone may have.
Well, thank you very much for that very thorough report. Does any of the board, I know because I've worked with Rose and the Industrial Foundation for several years, there's new board members who might have gained some information from this presentation.
And we're available, doesn't have to be this public setting. If anybody wants to have a conversation, just reach out and we'd be happy to do that.
Let's be sure that everyone gets notice of the next meeting so that if you can attend, that you do attend. I know Mr. Vale does a lot to make sure that he's advancing the work of the Industrial Foundation that benefits the cities and the Stark County community, and they're always very informative. So I encourage you to attend if you have the time. So make sure that we all get that notice if you can. Any questions? No?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you to your board members who are here present. I know that you have very busy schedules, and we appreciate you coming out to join us at this meeting, and appreciate the work that you do and our partnership. All right, this is just a presentation, so therefore there's no action on this item. We do move along to item number 8, which is discussion and possible action to approve a Texas Workforce Commission High Demand Job Training Grant Application and grant match. And if you recall, Mr. Lopez and I will abstain from this discussion, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Ms. Davila to continue with this segment of the meeting.
Good afternoon, and the next item is going to be discussion and possible action to approve a Texas Workforce Commission High Demand Job Training Grant Application and Grant Match. It's going to be number 8. And excuse me, I'm not completely.
And if you want to turn it over to someone else, please feel free.
Okay, go ahead.
Good afternoon. My name is Paloma Castro. It is a pleasure to be here with you all today. I did come to the previous board meeting, and we did discuss a high demand job training program proposal that we've been in the works with Rio Grande City ISD. And so basically in your packet there should be these one-pagers. So our outcomes are still remaining the same. We are still hoping and aiming to get 80 students their VITA certification, which is a voluntary income tax assistance certification. We also want to focus on professional development, so sending 10 educators to the Region 1 conference that focuses on CT courses, and then sending 4 welding educators to get their AWS welding workshop. And of course, the big majority of these funds we want to use for equipment purchases. So the big change that we had was in equipment allocation. So as Workforce Solutions over Rio, we did meet with the Rio Grande City ISD superintendent and with the CTE director. And there we discussed and we clarified a few things about the high demand job training program proposal. So starting off with the actual trainings, the VITA certification will be made available to both high schools. So it's not limited to anyone, it's going to both Rio Grande High School and La Grulla High School. So that training, that's going to be to both. And as well as the professional development for educators, that is also being offered to both campuses. And for the equipment allocation, the carpentry and welding, because we are hoping to obtain a large amount of equipment, it will be split up between both high schools as well. It's gonna go to Rio Grande and La Grulla. And then for the automotive and collision repair, that is solely going to Rio Grande High School only because La Grulla does not have that program in place because they do not have the classroom space to be able to have that program. So for the auto shop, we're aiming to send that over to Rio Grande High School. And for La Grulla, they will be getting the culinary arts, the equipment, just because we discussed in the meeting, they mentioned that the equipment is running a little lower in comparison to Rio Grande High School, so that's why the culinary arts is going strictly towards La Grulla. And the last thing that we brainstormed together and that we were a bit excited about was the creation of a dental assistant program for La Grulla High School specifically. We thought about the target occupations and occupations that are going to be in demand right now and in the future, and as well as student interest, and we decided that potentially starting up a new dental assistant program would be great for La Grulla High School. And of course, with starting a new program, it can come with a lot of difficulties, such as the curriculum creation, recruiting the teachers, the certifications. And with this program proposal, we want to kind of alleviate a little bit of that burden, a little bit of that financial burden. So that's why we included, it's about $49,000, $50,000 purely for the dental equipment. And I know that the CTE director for Rio Grande City ISD, they did meet with other educators that do work with the dental program, and so that's how we were able to get quotes and all the necessary equipment that we would need, that Rio Grande ISD would need to be able to get the program up and starting. Everything else is pretty much stayed the same, and that brings our total project cost to around $170,000, with the total Rio Grande City EDC contribution going around $84,000. This number is an extremely accurate estimate, but it is still an estimate, just because of course whenever we get new quotes and price changes, but $84,000, that is a very close estimate. So that's basically all the updates that we have for the program proposal. We're very eager to hear what the EDC board has to say, and if there are any questions, I'm happy to take them right now.
I have a quick question. All this is new equipment, correct?
Yes.
All right, in the past, about a year ago, La Grulla did have a welding program and a culinary arts program. Did anybody do an assessment to see what equipment was left behind from the previous program, which was called the ACE program? Because we don't want to duplicate the equipment. If the equipment's already there and usable, we could maybe,
Yeah, of course. I mean, I haven't discussed specifically with our CTE director from Rio Grande City ISD, but I know that we did tour the Rio Grande High School, and that's when we were able to come up with the equipment that was needed. I haven't been in talks about previous equipment that was purchased, but I know that because the carpentry and welding specifically is being divided among those high schools, of course, if we notice that there is equipment that one already has, then it'd go to the other high school.
okay.
Ms. Linda, can we move the motions and second it, vote it, and then can we discuss it? Please? So at this time, I would like to approve the action of the Texas Workforce Commission with the demand high job training application and grant match.
I'll second.
Do it. Okay.
I'll
second?
I'll second.
Okay. So all in favor of the Workforce Commission High Demand Job Training Grant Application and grant match?
Well-
All in agreement?
Yeah,
Say aye.
well, this has already been second, we can discuss
Discuss
it.
it.
So, thank you so much for being here, and now your presentation, it's way, way different than the previous one. Now, it's including both high schools. Now, it looks like you put the time, the effort, talking to the superintendent, talking to the CT director as well, knowing what materials, what classes, and what was needed in that particular high school. So for that, I'm very excited for that. And probably what Mr. Barrera was asking, it's also very important. But I'm sure that you will be overseeing the purchase of those equipments, and I'm pretty sure that you also will be making sure that they do not duplicate, and we just want to make our money's worth. And for that, we are grateful with the Texas Workforce Commission for choosing rgc-tv belongs to our community. And like you mentioned before, this is only happening in this school district, so we want to keep this program as long as you can help us. So for that, again, we're grateful. I know the amount changed just a little bit more, right? So last time we were supposed to help with 70.
It was 54.
70 what?
It was 54.
What?
54 it was
54 the last time, and this time is
We're
what?
at 84.
84.
84. So it went up, and I imagine it also is gonna cover more classes, or it's gonna cover more material, or it's targeting, what is it that, can you tell me just, why is it that it went up that high, and how much more we're gonna be helping those classes and those students?
Yes, so the reason that there was that increase in the contribution would be because we implemented the dental assistant program equipment.
Okay.
So because the amount is $49,000, that is, of course, almost $50,000 more for the total project cost. And we just thought that it'd be a great investment because either school doesn't have a dental assistant program. So buying this equipment really jumpstarts the school district's ability to get that program up and started.
Okay.
So that reason is why there was such a big increase.
Okay, and I can imagine maybe one of the other reasons is because now you're including the Grulla High School.
Yeah. Yeah, we wanted to include both of them. So after sitting down, we realized that it was a priority. So we definitely want to target both high schools equally based on need as well.
Okay, and what's the highest contribution that we can help you with? It was 150.
It was 150.
150.
Yes. So from each. Yes.
Okay, so this time will be almost like that, at half. Okay, well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your time.
Anybody else?
Thank you.
No, I don't.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay. Now,
All those in favor? All those in favor?
All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes.
congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, one more thing, can you also, I don't know if that's allowed or not, but maybe like 2 or 3 times a year, can you come and give us a report of how this program is working? I don't know if you're gonna be involved at 100%, but if that's something doable, we would like to know I mean, just keep us updated on.
We support our team, just track it. It takes a whole village to be able to work with this. So I know that the business relations, as well as the contracts, and even the fiscal gets involved. And we will also be creating a financial agreement between the EDC and the Workforce Solutions over Rio. And there's going to be the roles, responsibilities, the timeline, the specific amounts, and it is always tracked, like the purchase equipment tracked as well.
Okay.
So we're going to have everything ready for y'all. Whenever you'd like for us to come and to maybe give a summary of how it's going or updates, we're happy to do so.
Thank you.
And just to add to that, just so you all know, all the projects that we have are run by our contract admin department, and they are the ones that provide the reports and summary of whatever is going on with the project, with the schools and whoever is involved in the project. So you definitely are going to have that report coming to you, so you guys can know what is actually going on in the process of those funds.
And is this something that will be implemented for the next school year?
For this, it kind of all just, well, yeah, for the next one, that's our aim. It just depends on how fast we can get it approved. If everything was, well, we can get the financial agreement, the application, maybe submitted within the next 2 weeks, if we get the signatures and everything ready. However, it does take TWC approximately 60 days, and it can be even a little bit longer if, let's say, they need to send something back, we need to make corrections. So it all just depends, but our timeline right now is to hopefully purchase equipment. The beginning of the school year will be August, July, September, and then the training for the certifications would start in December.
So we should be getting an invoice before the end of our fiscal year, do you think?
Like I said, yeah, it all kind of depends just on
So we can
the
budget.
approval of TWC and how the fiscal departments work with each other.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much, Linda, for that. Item number 9 on the agenda is discussion and possible action to approve an incentive program for small businesses. That is under tab number 9 in your packet. And during our last meeting, we talked about having an expansion to this program that we piloted earlier this year. And so, based on the information, the financial information provided previously, that should help us make a decision on how we'll proceed with this. So, Mr. Barrera, is there anything you want to
Yes,
share?
board members, what you have in your packet is the application process for a new business, not necessarily a big business, but a business that coming into town. The application process they would have to get into.
I was thinking Boost, I apologize. This is a
Yes,
new
yes.
program to,
Yes, it's not the boost program.
I was thinking the Boost. So this program, Mr. Barrera, I didn't mean to interrupt, but this is to expand for small businesses as part of our incentive program, so I'll let you take it.
Okay, so Mr. Barrera last meeting wanted to come up with a way that we can incentivize new businesses, kind of like a mom and pops, a little bit higher, and what the city can do to assist them. So what you have in your booklets, it's an application. It's been a little bit tweeted, a little bit, and also includes a scoring chart that Mr. Reyna had requested before. So I know you haven't had time to look at it, but this is the first step we want to do. And so what I ask you to take a look at it. We're not going to make any decision right now, I will assume, but it's a good way to start, in which, like Mr. Smith yesterday mentioned about going through the Small Business Administration. If he can start a small business here in town through our local banks and our EDC helping out with an incentive application, I think that's a good start. So I think this is a good way we can get anybody out there who wants to start a new business. We as an EDC can assist them as well. So right now, this is a draft incentive application, and you can review it. Maybe not right now, but we got some time. We have our workshop scheduled in June. We can maybe by that time finalize the application.
We we had looked at this score sheet back in, I believe it was November of last year, and I want to say that our recommendation then was just to make sure that all the numbers in the weight category, because there were some errors there. You know, when we looked at it, I recall there wasn't really much contention over the scoring criteria. What I think it still needs is a tier of that business size or investment.
Yes.
Because we traditionally, when we look at the larger investments, like the ones we work with the Industrial Foundation on, those are, you know, multi-million-dollar investments. Those are looked at and weighed a little bit differently. But when you have your small businesses, we need to decide, okay, are we going to have a tier of, you know, the 50,000 and below, and the 150, you know, those that fall within 100,000 and or 50,000 and 50,001 to 100,000. Just develop those tiers so that we can determine what amount, if any, we're going to be able to contribute based on the score. And so we have to look at two things, those tiers, as well as how much are we willing to give back based on that tier. So maybe we're looking at 20% of the project or 10% of the whatever that may be. That's the only thing I see lacking.
Okay.
And I know that you're just looking at this today and didn't really have a chance to review it in advance. But I think that moving forward with the item on the agenda, if it is something that we're comfortable accepting and approving, it would be to proceed, you know, with the further modification of this tool. We're not actually putting into practice until we come with a complete score sheet. But I think everybody agreed that we wanted to do more for small businesses. So if we're comfortable, we can go ahead and approve an incentive program for small businesses and define the details of those criteria in a subsequent meeting.
Well, very well explained, thank you, and that's something that we really wanted to pass. The main goal here is to make this city attractive and to make it easier on businesses to come and invest in this community. That's the whole main goal, and this is my opinion, and I've talked to several other board members, and we all share the same vision. I'm in business, so I know how difficult it is to start, and I want, again, the city to be attractive. So more than a small business incentive, I'm thinking just business incentive, because we don't know, that's the whole point. We want to know how to put it to categories, like if you belong to the small, to the medium, to the large. Right, so it's not necessarily for a small business, maybe we just can modify that. And the main goal is to come up with the easiest way to make it attractive for them, okay? And to come up with an amount that it will be very beneficial for a business to come into our city. And I'm talking about good amounts. This is just what I think, right? This is, I wanna be able to help businesses, I don't know, 20, 30, 40, even 100,000. We don't know. We have helped other huge businesses with infrastructure for hundreds of thousands. We just saw it with the St. Abe's. So we want to have assist them even more. That's the mentality that I have for the EDC, and this is just myself. So that's the reason we ask you to put this item on the agenda, because that's something that we really want to have in place like as soon as possible. And I'm just, again, the main goal is to make it easy and attractive for the EDC to help, right? So it all depends on us, what categories we'll be looking for, and then put it into practice, like the sooner the better. So that's just my 2 cents on this. And I've been talking to also one of the other board members,
I
Mr.
echo
Reyes.
Mr. Barrera's comment. I believe that this systemizing the EDC, the way we help people, it makes the EDC more efficient and the board's time more efficient. While we're away for a whole month, the EDC director and his staff can be working on it.
Right.
It's like setting it on autopilot. So I think that's very, very important, you know, and That's a goal, to be able to create those tiers and be able to come up with the amount of money that we can help the new businesses. And be proactive, instead of just waiting for things to happen. I think this allows us to be proactive, to make things happen, and to be able to promote all these different tiers on our social media. And I guarantee you things are gonna happen. Good things are gonna happen.
Well, we're a step closer in that direction with a tool that is in your packet, and I suggest you look at it a little bit more thoroughly when you have some time. What I do believe is that we need to enhance it with those tiers and categories and determine what the range of amounts could be, and systemizing that so that it's more efficient for us in deciding is absolutely what we want to do as a board. This is a staff assignment. So I would suggest that, before our next meeting, we have that tool available to us to review, so that we're not talking about the tool again, but rather we're looking at it and we're making a decision based on what is being presented. So with that being said, I don't know if there is any other comment.
And if you can send those rough drafts, before, it'll be helpful to the members.
This is gonna be a process. For example, the application, you read it, when somebody submits, it really doesn't mean anything. If it's somebody's dream of a business, I see it as a process where it's gonna be a presentation, either with some slides or that person coming in and tell us his dream. This is like a big boost grant on Powerade. It's gonna be huge. And if we promote this through our public affairs office, we get 10 businesses coming in. We have to make that decision, and some of them are gonna be told no, and then the amount that we're gonna be giving them. So this is the first one that we do. We have to do it right, and it's to me, it's more of a visual to make sure all of us here make that right decision. Like, this is somebody's dream out there. Like Mr. Smith said yesterday, he had a dream to have Comet cleaners. Look at that. So it's gonna take advice from some of the local bankers to come. Maybe they'll do a presentation of what kind of options they have for small business loans and all.
Also, pre-setting those amounts that we can help, those incentives are very important, I think, because then it's also important that we're fair to every business. That a business is not gonna get less and another business is gonna get more. So pre-setting removes that issue there.
So as we recruit from the outside, this is recruiting from the inside.
Well,
so I like this.
And also, just to clarify on that, there's two kind of business people, the ones that have a dream, but they're still working on it, right? But there's many that are already starting the groundbreaking. They already building, they already remodeling that office. They're already, they just started maybe a month ago, they just started 2-3 months ago. Why they can't qualify? That's the difference between the dreamers and the ones that are actually doing it already. So, and I'm just giving you an example with the Little Caesars, for example. Let's say that it's a family owned. I know they have their main office in Bar, and I'm not sure the owner is from here, but the general manager is from here. They could have qualified, because we're gonna have a good product being sold in our community. They're gonna be paying rent. They're gonna be using computers and sales points, and they need a lot of equipment. In my opinion, if we have this already in place and they would have come, hey, I'm already in the process, I'm about to open in 2-3 weeks, there's nothing else to look at, because we just want to incentivize those businesses to build here. Ms. Benavides just mentioned it. We are in the same kind of a situation with Peñitas, right? But these similar businesses are there. So imagine if one of those businesses says, oh, you know what, but let's do it in Rio. They have the demographics, they have the traffic, they have all these things going on. Plus, they give you $40,000 if you have 10 or more employees, right?
And to that point, the question becomes, your investments could be seen as a way to close a deal, make it happen. Because when you have a business that's already saying, I'm gonna do it anyway, and you have another business that says, well, I don't know if I'm gonna get there yet, let's see what we can come up with. The question is, are you incentivizing the one that already has the loan and is building? Or are you going to try to bring the one that is still, you know, at the,
scratch.
Yes.
yeah, just trying to.
Yes, so they're two different, like, I can give you more examples. Land Title USA, they just opened a couple of months ago. They could have qualified. They have employees, they are renting, they're providing another service. Los Pinos Hardware, you can name it. There's a lot of businesses going on right now. Several plazas that have opened. I haven't given anything. I haven't approved giving something to them. We have a brand new, beautiful plaza in Hospital Road. Several businesses. None of them have come for asking for anything. Why? Well, in my opinion, just like Mr. David said, they don't know.
They don't know.
They don't know. They can still come. Why not? We are here to give back to those entrepreneurs. We want to give. This is the money they support the city with. Those sales taxes, those services help, and not only for businesses, in my opinion, also for professional services, accountants, lawyers. Doctors, they don't know. And I mean, $10,000-$15,000 to furniture your office, to buy computers, to get a huge sign like the burgers, Angry Burgers, right? The guy told us. Now I have a sign and I see it every time just because he said it.
And I hope he's selling a lot of burgers.
That parking lot is
Pretty fancy
huge.
sign.
Yes.
Well,
I mean,
we have an application, we have a criteria matrix. What we're missing is some additional information. What we did approve when we looked at this way back when was a process. So to make it easier, to answer your question, David, there is a process that we looked at back then where you take in the application, there's a meeting going on between staff, they're going to check those boxes, get it all prepped and ready, they score it, they share that score with us to say, we have an application, this is how they score, it is our recommendation that it be reviewed and considered for an incentive. And that way, when we're here, we're looking at that with all of the facts, and we can make a decision that is streamlined and easy.
the goal that we
Right.
have is want to make decisions on a monthly basis. We want to have, hey, we have 3 businesses, what do you think? Well, we already reviewed the list. We already know, we saw the application. Hey, I think based on our categories, we already put them on tier 1, tier 2. They qualify for $15,000. Why not? It's gonna come back again. It's just money that we are helping them, and yeah, it's investing. That's and especially for those entrepreneurs. And don't get me wrong, but I feel like I'm one of them. I mean, the energy is just right there. You want to do it right there. And sometimes we don't even go and apply for something because they make it impossible to qualify. So again, but this is just putting my opinion, right? We all have to decide. This is a team effort. But at least I'm glad that one of our board members, like Mr. Reina, was like kind of not concerned, but he was like, "Hey, I want to be more proactive. Let's do something."
Also on those dreamers that come to the EDC for some type of help, we have the one-stop shop at one time that we can refer them to for business plans and stuff like
Yes.
that. Before they apply for any of these type of grants, you know, they go through all that process. They can come to us, to the EDC, our staff will direct them, you know what, get yourself this, you know, get yourself aligned with a one-stop shop, get yourself an LLC or a PC.
Yes, sir.
or maybe a corporation, whatever it is that they need to do, they need to get, you know, we need to refer them somewhere if they're gonna be investing here in Durande, because we want them to succeed.
The city currently doesn't have anything similar to that?
We had some,
Just
we
board
had
members
some,
that can do it. I mean, look at, we have accountants,
we got the
business people,
CPA there.
backers, you know, and
we have some, you know, our, lunch hour,
Lunch and learn.
lunch and learn type of deal for some, you know, for some dreamers that want to
Maybe
come.
having something, an ongoing thing,
Yeah.
where people can come at any time, not only do a workshop once a year.
No.
I think that's not a.
To come to our office,
Yeah.
and we can get together with the workforce solutions, we can get together with different people that can either come once a week to our office and staff there to see who wants to visit with anybody.
That's a great point.
Because many of the times, entrepreneurs they want to take the step, but they don't know how. It's overwhelming.
It's overwhelming, but in reality it's
Yeah,
not.
yeah,
But it's not.
yeah.
You just go and get an, whatever, like an
But in the
LLC
city or
or
EDC.
just a,
And that's
DBA.
where- that's
The
where
DBA is
the
willing enough
EDC
to open the business account.
Right,
That's it.
and that's where the EDC comes in, where we want to help them economic development, we want to help them grow, we want to help them live their dream, but we need to bring in some support for them.
And we have those partners already.
And we have them in place.
Right next door?
We have SBA, we have SBDC, they're our partners, so that we're here to connect our business customers to those resources, so.
Now,
if
how do we
somebody-
do to get it to the community? Because the community doesn't know.
That's a
Advertise,
PR
you know,
thing, so
it's a
we're
PR.
Okay, so
communications.
PR,
we gotta work on that as well.
Executive director going out, our staff going out to different parts of the city and just being out there, be seen and what we can offer. Maybe we can get business cards from the EDC with a QR code in the back with with that QR code when you scan it.
I like it.
And then this is what we can help you with.
Right.
We're doing that with the Workforce Solutions, business cards and pass them out to potential new business owners. And what we can offer is, here's my card, scan the QR code in the back, and this is what the EDC can offer you.
You know what, something just to consider, maybe, the Rio Grande City Chamber of Commerce, it's everywhere, right? We might be able to use them a little bit more, because.
Back in the day, the Rio Grande City Chamber of Commerce we had it there.
Mr. Canales was on the.
Mr. Canales was there. I remember the Chamber of Commerce. A lot of business owners wanted to come into Rio Grande or wanted to do something. They come to the Chamber of Commerce and they would help them with a one-stop shop, how to create.
Maybe that could be your point of contact that you're
Well,
asking.
yeah, we need a point of contact,
Yes.
because a lot of times incentivizing a business is not solely with money, right? But incentivizing them and giving the courage and the understanding and the tools to take that step to form their DBA, to form their LLC.
Yeah.
Because that's the biggest step from a small business owner, to take that step, to get that guidance from
Exactly.
professional guidance, right?
Right, it's not just about the money that they can
Yeah.
apply for, but help me start my
Exactly.
business.
And honestly-
And how many dreams or businesses never materialize because of that?
Yeah.
They're afraid to,
We're never gonna know
they're
how
afraid
many.
to approach anybody, and they don't know how.
Exactly.
Let's
So I
work on-
think that one of the things that the EDC should do, right, is figure out a way that we can create this program it's readily available throughout the year, not only once a month or twice a month, but throughout the year, and then promote it so the community can know what we're doing.
And that's-
that they can take advantage of that.
Yes.
And that's a workshop item that can be done, so
That can
we
be
can
presented
start
for-
implementing that.
yeah.
Yes, I'll be talking to do you like the idea of talking to the chamber on that matter? Because we have an army of
Chamber members
good
and business
individuals, right?
community,
A lot, I think they're like 7, and we're
They're all
7.
business owners.
Yeah, and we're
They're all
7.
business owners and how they can help.
Exactly.
The chamber needs
I mean, we can even,
the chamber needs an
support,
office.
right?
Yes.
I don't know.
They're already officing out of our.
Yeah, they already put us a very nice office.
For this particular item, we can do one of two things. We can go ahead and approve the incentive program for small businesses. In other words, we're giving permission for the EDC to expand it to small businesses. We're doing it through an actual action item. The other thing is that we do have an incentive application already, and that in itself could be, and it's already been approved previously. It doesn't indicate any specific ranges, so we can table it or we can be clear and decide that we want to approve specific to small business.
I would like to approve it,
Okay.
and then within the next week, have those categories.
Yep.
And then make sure that those individuals get as much assistance as possible so they can complete.
We already have people waiting to apply?
No, I don't know.
I'm sure we
okay.
will.
Okay.
So
No,
then,
this is the first time that we.
Oh.
so then I'm gonna go ahead and ask for a motion to approve this incentive program for small businesses, taking note of all of the comments and requests that we have to formulate a plan and getting
President,
it out
I
to the
move to
community.
approve the incentive program to the small businesses as presented.
We do have a motion.
I'll
Do
second.
we have a second? We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those against, same sign. Motion carries. Very well. Item 10 is the discussion and possible action to approve a second round of boost grants. And that is where this would be an expansion to the ones that we previously given. And based on the financial information, we can determine how we want to proceed with that. Mr. Barrera?
We have the flyer, it's ready to go as soon as we approve for the next 10 second round 2,500 boost grants. A very popular program in our community.
Can you give us a little bit of background on how many applied in the last round and the application process? How long it took you to consider them as the boost grant? It was with first come, first serve. Did you find, was there a criteria that it needed to follow?
Yeah,
Can you give us a little bit of background? Can you give us a little bit of background on how many? I know there was 10, and were they small business? Because we go back, we go back to the previous application, but these small businesses that applied for these grants, they had already started their business, or was it a new business?
Their criteria is in the flyer. You have to be an existing business,
Okay.
have a certificate of occupancy, have all the permits, and if you're renting, make sure your landlord approves. And if you have all that, the process is pretty quick.
They went pretty quick. I think in the last meeting, we did have a report of those that were granted.
And we did the first 10. There were a couple that wanted to, but they didn't have the requirements.
And some of them exceeded the 100,000 income.
Sure.
That's why we were looking at expanding something to help those businesses that didn't necessarily qualify for this particular program. So on the table is whether or not we want to go ahead and approve this second round of boost grants. And based on the financial report we received earlier, we are in a positive financial standing to do so. So if it is a desire of this board to continue, we will go ahead and entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to move forward with the second round of the small business boost grant.
And I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those
Aye.
against, same sign. Motion carries. You got some work for the next round. Thank you very much. Item number 11, we have two parts, 11A and B, and it's discussion and possible action to amend the 2024-2025 EDC work plan. As you know, when we approve those projects and those funds for those projects, we add them to our work plan so they reflect the projects that we have committed to. And so for item 11A, Mr. Lopez and I will go ahead and abstain from that. So if you want to go ahead and proceed with that action for,
You want me to take it?
Yeah.
sure.
So on 11A, we have the discussion and possible action to amend the 2024-2025 EDC 4B work plan. For 11A, that's the TWC high demand job training.
11A is to add the 84,000 that was previously discussed, and the boost grants is $25,000 that we're gonna add.
Is it 25 or 50? Because you said it was the second and third.
It's 50 if we add the third round.
Okay.
We-
We approve the
We're adding
second.
25K.
I
So we're adding
put
25.
50 here just in case we want to do something for the third round quick, but it's 25,000.
Okay.
So A is 84 and B is 25 to amend the workbook.
Does anybody have any questions, any discussions? If there's no further discussions, I'll take a vote. All in favor to approve items 11A and 11, are we voting on 11B also? Or?
Yes, we can vote.
Both? Okay. So we're gonna vote on for 11A and 11B. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Did you make a motion?
There was no,
Oh,
I'll make a
I'm sorry.
motion. I'll make a motion
make
to
a
approve.
So is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
I'll second.
So there's a motion and a second, to approve items 11A and 11B. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
That was my first time doing that, I apologize.
Good job, good job. Okay, in your packet, you have your executive director report with some updates. I think we want to, in the essence of time, unless there's something significant that needs to be highlighted, would like for it to just be something as a
Okay,
reference.
let me do it real quick. Just take a look at the report. I had some updates on projects coming up the line, but just on key items is on June the 8th, we have the Abrazo program, which is the Chamber of Commerce from Camargo is going to meet the city of Rio Grande City and the EDC at 8 o'clock in the morning. That's on June the 8th. That's what we do, the traditional Abrazo. Little history on that. It's been happening since the 1970s, and we want to continue that. They show up all in coat and ties, and they bring their princesses and queens. So we want to continue to do that. That's June the 8th at the Camargo Bridge, Sunday morning. Why Sunday morning? Because there's very little traffic.
It's their Dia of Comercio, and so they have a big celebration in Camargo, and they're so hospitable. They extend the invitation to the delegation from Rio Grande to join them for breakfast and their parade and festivities. That is entirely up to you if you would like to go, but they've always extended that offer. It is something nice, and it shows how we work closely with our partners south of the border to grow our local economy.
Whenever we have a new investor coming into the city, we tell them that Camargo is our neighbor, and they have about 25,000 people in populations in el municipio. So when they see Rio as 15,000 people, they see Camargo also. So we want to have that relationship with Camargo, and this is a good thing to continue that. The next quick item is that one of the things that the state of Texas does, and this is Historic Preservation Month, is our Main Street program. We're doing very, very good. We just got recertified. Just to let you know, there's only 3 Main Street programs in the valley, Brownsville, Harlingen, and Rio. And to maintain that certification, there's a lot of things you need to do. And if you miss a deadline, we lose that certification, and we lose the ability to have access to grants to fix our downtown. And just to notify you, it's there on your packet that we got recertified for this year. So I want to thank our Main Street Program Coordinator, Ms. Yandetti. Thank you so much for all the work you do. And we want to continue our Main Street pushing forward. And if you noticed, in about August, July timeframe, we're going to have a ribbon cutting for our Renew Downtown initiative. The issue is that we want to get investors to come in and take over some of the abandoned buildings that we have. We have currently one individual, the insurance agency, and they're looking probably opening in July or August. And from that time, we want to do a ribbon cutting saying that our city is interested in fixing our downtown, and we want to educate folks on what incentives we have to assist the folks in the downtown. As we grow to the east and we grow to the west, we cannot forget about our downtown. So, and the rest you can read up there. We have a lot of potential businesses coming in. We do have the ribbon cutting program is working very well. It actually sells. We've had some businesses who've been already in existence, and they want to see how they can do a ribbon cutting. One of the things we do for the Chamber of Commerce, because remember, the Chamber of Commerce doesn't have anybody full-time, they're all volunteers. So what we do is we help the Chamber by taking, we answer the phone calls, and then we take the names and the name of the business, and then we coordinate with our mayor to see if it's available to do the ribbon cutting, and we push it out there to get folks to know that there's a new business in town. So it's working out pretty good, our partnership with the Chamber of Commerce, like Ms. Barrera mentioned in the past.
All right. And then workshop this summer.
Yes, and you have a draft agenda of what the workshop. It's a budget, and I call it a strategy, because we talk about our monies that we have for the next fiscal year and how we plan to spend it. We're planning to have the Parks and Recreation folks come over and tell us what are their needs, because remember, EDC, we focus also on tourism and well-being in the community. So we need to know what the needs are out there from our directors here in the city, and then we need to budget for that. So the workshop is pretty intensive, but on the second day, we start more conversations on how we can get it done better. Because remember, we got 4 months left in this fiscal year. So the budget workshop is scheduled for the 17th and 18th. It's from 8 to 5, and we're gonna do it locally so we can save some money.
And we're responsible for delivering a budget to the city so that it is incorporated as they adopt that later on this summer. So the earlier we can get through this process, the better. So mark your calendars for those dates. Thank you, Mr. Barrera. We do have another item on the agenda. Unless there's any questions. Are there any questions? The next item on the agenda is number 13, executive session, chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code, consultation with attorney regarding legal review of existing contract with the Starr County Industrial Foundation. It is now 1:31 p.m. and we're going to go ahead and go into executive session. And Ms. Davila, you're welcome to sit here and keep our seats warm while we go deliberate. in executive session. Item A, there is no action. And then, item 15 is adjournment. And so we have a motion and a second.
And before we leave, I want to thank all the staff, the EDC staff and everything, for working diligently with the city and with the board, getting everything ready. I want to thank you for communicating with, I get a lot of communications from the clerk. Main Street, congratulations on what you do out in our Main Street program that we have. And you don't get recognized very much, but I think, on behalf of myself and the staff, thank you so much for all you do.
And Melinda's behind the...
Where is she? Where is she?
Behind the scene, behind the...
All right, Melinda, you're back there, but, thank you for everything you do. You've always been a great help.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, all those in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. It is 2:33 p.m. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.